Hello there folks, Ferengi on board here with another video. I thought about an interesting question that most people in my life have asked me, if not kind of all of people I've met asked me sooner or later, well except some of the few people that I actually got to keep as close friends. Um, so the question is, do you believe in God? Okay, now, in my opinion, this is a very tricky question since my answer is something like more like based on questions. So my answers back to you would be like, so you believe in God, okay? Like, what do you believe in? And many people will say, well, I believe in God, but, well, okay, but do you believe in God as a concept or as an entity? Because many people say they believe in God, but they sound straight outwards flat. And what do I mean? Well, I mean one simple thing. What they mean is that they believe in God, and that God is a concept. I can understand from their voices vibration that it's just a belief. They don't need proof for that, okay, but they are certain that God exists. In other cases, they are very certain that God exists, but they just believe in the concept. I mean, yes, God exists, but the concept of God actually exists, and it's a confirmation that it actually exists in their mind. I don't know if you actually understood this. I kind of learned throughout my life to dive deep into the subconscious mind and to understand what I call mind code, or the programming of the mind. Usually this comes more through my introspection and guidance from my guides rather than me consciously understanding so many of these things. So, what is it that you're actually believing in? I'm not saying it is bad to believe in Allah or in Buddha or in Jesus Christ, but don't forget that each of these have actually said, and especially I remember Buddha saying that don't be like me, be yourself. Okay, like I'm sure Buddha is not entirely happy with the fact that many people want to be like him in order to be spiritual and to find out the truths that you have to find about yourself, not other people. Well, you have to become yourself. You have to realize who and what you are. You have to realize your positives and your negatives, and you have to embrace them each. Most people embrace the light because of cowardice, and I can see that in most people. Why so? Because many people are taught that they have to embrace the light. And religion teaches us, and society also teaches us, to live life in reverse. Now, what is that? Well, everything you are taught is against nature, because nature created us, and nature didn't tell us that we have to believe in it or in God. Okay? Because let's presume for a second that God actually exists. Okay? The way we imagine him, like, honestly, why would you actually imagine the almighty entity that has created the universe? Let's say, again, presuming it exists. Why does that person actually look like us, like a human? Like, sure, there would be that explanation that, hey, but you have to make that person, that concept understandable to the masses. No, it's actually a highly narcissistic thing. And I believe that whoever believes in religion suffers from at least a few narcissistic traits. If not, they are some narcissistic person. Okay? So in psychiatry, there are three types of narcissists, and one of them, I forgot the type's name. These narcissists are not the other two types, the regular narcissists. Okay? This one is a bit shadier. Now, what do I mean? These ones actually revel in other ideas. They're not interested in the main focus being on them. They don't want the main spotlight. They are interested in, and they usually join circles, let's say, and they militate for those. They become fanatical, let's say. So they are, in a way, narcissistic about that other thing. So they obsess with some other things. They are a bit more shy in a way compared to other narcissists who want to be the headlights, right? All the lights to be on them and be the center of attention. And religion is something that I call the place for chit chat. Many people would like to gain attention in life because they just don't have attention. And one thing that I've seen is usually homosexuality is something that is fake. Now, I see that it is fake, I can see beyond that illusion, and all I know, one other thing, is that it is again propagated because, in a way, it is against nature. Why so? Well, I don't say homosexuality is against nature because God says so. Like, God and nature are two separate things, in my opinion. They are two different concepts, both are constructs of humanity. Like, in my question, ask yourself this: can you actually watch a tree, right? And then, well, just watch it. Do you actually have to call it a tree? Like, does it necessarily have to be a tree? Like, can't it actually be something else? I mean, why do you actually have to fault for your mind and actually name things and give them concepts? Okay? So, in my point, I am alive and full stop. That's my only religion. I don't need to believe in nature. I don't need to believe in God. I mean, this whole universe was created by something, okay? So I am part of that something. Even if I don't believe in that thing, even if I ignore that thing, even if I don't give it any meaning, or, like, I don't take it into account, even if it does not exist for me, it still exists. It created the universe and we are all part of the universe. So, believe it or not, ignore it or not, it's still part of you, right? Like, now tell me, you believe in your own God, okay, your own entity or whatever, so how does that make you feel? I mean, do you feel any different than most other people? Now, try to understand this without actually lying to yourself, because lying is a narcissistic trait and a big one. And we all, I mean, I don't know if people know, but I've come up to the realization that people actually are good liars. People excel at lying themselves, and religion was created by narcissists. I mean, Christianity, look at it. Give all your riches, okay, to the church and live poor so that you win your place in the heavens. Like, it's bullshit, right? Like, why do I have to give all my riches? I mean, if if rich people are evil, right? One of the quotes that I hear today. Like, why have emperors always existed? Haven't people been, capable of seeing that the emperor is actually evil because they are rich, they have all the riches. And the church would also have all the riches, so why weren't they evil? Okay, let's not dive into, you know, let's not dive into ideas here and polemics, because I don't want to bring religious hatred and all sort of societal, you know, correctness and all sort of things. I really don't welcome the such in my life. And the point is that I want to present the reality beyond all ideas. All ideas are illusions and constructs that the mind has created in order to believe in something. So, as you believe in your own god or goddesses or whatever concepts that you have, ask yourself one thing: how do they make you feel? Okay, how do you feel about them? If you believe in this god that is almighty and it protects you from everything, let me tell you one thing: the source of any attack in your life is within you. You are the source of any attack that happens in your life, be it physical, be it psychological, be it mental, be it spiritual. Okay? I've learned this principle during my initiation in Reiki level 3, Reiki Usui level 3, and all I can say is that, okay. And I've also found this in Reiki Shambhala level 2, which I am also initiated in. I'm also initiated in so Reiki Usui, Reiki Shambhala, and Reiki Karuna. Okay, and these are interesting notions that I learned, and this one actually was the most eye-opening, because many people fall for this illusion. Many people buy themselves crystals, many people buy themselves a lot of stuff, and they believe that they protect them. Those materials can offer you protection, but think of it like this. You have a fortress, okay? So you are the fortress. But the fortress and its walls can only protect you as long as, the walls don't allow anything to go in. Let's say that nothing flies and, moves over it. But here comes the question. How can your walls protect you when your doors are wide open, right? I mean, if you let things in, how can it actually protect you? So imagine it just like your firewall at your computer. The firewall does not protect you like almost at all. You have your own protocols, right? Your own ports that the internet connection occurs through. And there is no such thing as a firewall that protects the ports. Okay, so unless you close those ports, you won't have any internet protection. The moment you've opened your internet protection, some virus or whatever can actually creep in. And most likely it will, sooner or later. The moment you access a site, that's a hole in your firewall. It's the same with this world. When you think of something, you connect yourself to that, and I made a video about the pendulum effect, which means that when you connect to an idea, you connect to actually everything that people have thought about that throughout the course of time. And those ideas, I mean, it's not just one idea. Each person probably explains and presents that idea in a certain way. So imagine the general idea, right, the general concept as a big star, right, or the black hole, let's say the supermassive black hole, and around it whirls, the same idea in billions of different shapes, the way each and every person throughout history and throughout these present times has and actually have thought about that. So basically each idea is a galaxy of thoughts that conglomerated about it. And just as each galaxy has its stars, they also have their own black holes. So each idea has how to call it? Oh yes, each idea has its goods and its negatives. But think of it like this, and I had an epiphany recently about this. It's like each of those ideas is basically the principle. The original idea is the supermassive black hole at the center of a galaxy, right? But that black hole does not exist. It is a void. Scientists actually are trying to find out what that is. I myself feel very, very connected to black holes. I feel like they are some kind of spiritual guides of mine. I've had lucid dreams about those. And all I can say is that I feel very connected with them. And I feel that they are conscious beings, they are not physical, and they have the purpose to erase memory. Their purpose is to break matter back into its original form and release it back into the universe in its original form. The form that is still a life force, because everything is a life force, everything is a life form, even radiation is a life form. And that is the hungriest life form because it is imbalanced and it is seeking out things to balance itself. That's the purpose of black holes. And the idea itself is a black hole, so it is a void. It is a construct. It is pure force. And that force is actually what keeps it together because you are giving it importance. That idea exists there because you are giving it importance. You are feeding it. So basically, the thoughts you are creating, actually, the ideas that you keep thinking about and keep repeating, they create this gravitic field, right? This gravitational field that keeps the idea stable. When you no longer think about that idea, the gravitational field simply vanishes and that, let's call it black hole, simply dissipates and it no longer exists within you. That's how things actually work. And it is very, very interesting to keep this in mind. I probably might be the person to not share things that most people share because I prefer diving much, much deeper. So it's the same with the concept of a god, because gods have always existed because people needed things to believe in. And religion is all about giving your power away, believing in things outside you instead of actually finding and looking for the truths. Looking for the truths inside you. I am a bit tired, I know, yes, but I will go on with the video. So, how does that thing actually make you feel, okay? And please try not to be narcissistic, okay? Because it doesn't work with me. I read people very easily. It's not something that I take pride in, but I just see that I don't have much difficulty reading through people's masks. So does this idea of God actually make you feel, like any way better or more confident or more fulfilled in life? Because most likely you're some narcissistic person lying yourself, because the reason why you believe in a God is most likely because it was drilled in your mind, and you also have this fear that if you no longer believe in that, it will abandon you. And you see, what I've seen in mind code is that this fear that we have nowadays, most people have nowadays, that they don't want to try things because of fear of failure. But think of it like this: you don't have anything, right? You don't have money, you don't have this, you don't have a reputation. So what can you actually lose? It is when you have nothing to lose that you are the strongest. Because a person that has nothing to lose is the most dangerous. Like, what else can you take them? Their life? Well, they already lived a miserable life up till then, so that's most likely going to end up as a prize, right? As a gift, let's say, right? And so the idea of religion is, as I see it, is it makes you live in reverse. And what happens when you live in reverse? Well, let's see what happens when you say live in reverse. You get L-I-V-E, and in reverse it's E-V-I-L, which is evil. Okay, so living life in reverse is evil, and you have to find that out for yourself. Many people say that living in the light is the best thing, and we see it everywhere, okay? Like all the big armies, every military combatant and leader you'll see, they simply love the light, okay? Because the moment, if you can see your enemy, then it is an easy fight, right? You can track them, you can do whatever. But if the enemy is fighting guerrilla warfare and you don't get to see your enemy too much, it's like, oh come on, it's not fair. You start bitching, whining, complaining, right? Because it's not fair. It's not fair, right? I mean, I had 10 times their army, but I lost because they don't fight, they fight dirty, right? These people find all sorts of these, like hideous excuses in life, and that's why they are miserable. They are accepting things that do not suit them. These miserable ideas that they are coming up with, they don't serve them. It's just miserable shit that they are coming up with because they feel they are useless in certain situations. And especially if they lose, and the moment you start complaining, you accept that you cannot win something, you are also giving your power away. And third of all, you're condemning yourself to failure. And the universe sees you and says, this person wants misery, this person wants failure. Okay, let me give you more of that. Because the universe will give you things based on your own vibration, and based on the things you think of, and based on the things that you want. So, moving even forwards, the point is that the way I see light and dark is, you see, some people will tell you that light equals information and darkness equals lack of it. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you my own perceptions. Don't take them as, everything I tell you, just please take it with a grain of salt, okay? These things are truths that I know, and, I have felt, I have my own confirmations, and all I can say is this. They may not apply to you, okay? Don't feel bad about this. Think about a way that you can adjust what I say to you, or there are probably people who speak closer to yourself and to your own understanding. I'm not blaming anyone for not being able to understand my ideas or for mocking my ideas, but I simply don't take those into account because I welcome only positivity in my life. So light and dark are two things that you have to accept in your life. You will be taught that you have to embrace the light, but I usually see the light as the pussy path, as the path of the coward. Because in light you can see everything you want. And narcissists can be narcissists only in the light. Because in the light everyone can see each and every of your trophies, even if they are fake. So people who brag about themselves may not necessarily be that genuine, and basically they can only brag about themselves in the light, right? Because that's where you can actually see their trophies, and you can see how much they work towards the image that they promote, be it genuine or not. But what do you do when you're in darkness? Because darkness, you can brag about your trophies, but it's darkness, no one will actually see them. Now darkness is a light for those who can actually see in darkness, okay? Because one truth that I'm going to share is probably not something most people know, or they know but they're not fully conscious of it, is that light allows you to see things, but at the same time light can also blind you, okay? So light can always blind you, and usually it blinds you. How many times in your life has it been that you've been doing things but you've most likely ended up following them blindly? You just had to do them, you just felt like you had to do them, right? There were things that you liked, maybe there were things that you enjoyed doing those, but still you don't feel okay because you most likely overdid them. So when you overdo things, there's something hiding out there that you're running away from it, and don't hide it, you're running away from it, and well, that's about it. To move even further, darkness is where everything exists in its own order, okay? So in light you can shape things every possible way that you want, and in light people end up with a narcissistic trait, one of the many, and that of shaping things the way they want. You will see that a lot of the people surrounding you want things only the way they can perceive, and you can see this in one of the most horrible and in a way hideous aspects that narcissistic assets can come up with, and that is wanting, even forcing people to shape themselves to your beliefs. Usually parents do this to us, some friends might do this to us, some people that we knew or know might do this to us. They want us to be like them. But think about it. Are they someone successful in life? Are they pleased with their own life, even if they're bragging about it? But what's the truth behind that? Or are they just some miserable, pathetic punk that just wants you to suffer as well? You have to think about this. So when you think about deities, just think about this little thing, okay? There is light work that you have to do, and you have to teach people like I am doing. You have to teach people and uplift them. You have to improve yourself. You have to find out as many of the subconscious truths about yourself as possible. And also there's shadow work, where you have to deal with fears. You have to deal with whatever programming you have in your own mind. So light work and shadow work have little to do with the concept of God. I'm not saying God specifically, but any other God. You're believing in something, okay, it's good, you're at least believing in something, but why not accept yourself as the only God? Like, for example, I see myself as the greatest actor on the stage of my life, because we are all actors and the world is a stage. Shakespeare actually said that, and most likely he wasn't the only one. The life is a stage, and all the people are just actors, right? Because most of people actually, they pretend a lot, they bitch, they complain a lot, right? But the way I want you to see the world, and I mean I don't want you, I just invite you to try, is this. So let's take it like this, okay? So the world is a stage, and the people and the animals and all the entities, and well, the guides are automatically that, they are all spectators, okay? So what would you like them to see you as? Do you want them to see you as a people pleaser, as some kind of failure in life, or do you want them to see you for the awesomeness that you are? Well, in case the last answer is the chosen one, then you have to find out that there is a lot of work to do, and that is light work and shadow work. I will be doing some videos about this in time. I don't know exactly when, but I will speak about anything that I know, and I will keep sharing, and at the same time I'm learning new things. So that being said, try to concentrate on yourself, and what if you are actually the god of your own existence, and also you are the god of your own universe? Think about this, because the way you perceive things, it's the way you will feel them, and it's the way you will think of them, because our perceptions shape our own reality. So based on your own perceptions, you're actually creating your own reality. So it's only reinforcing my idea that you are the deity, right, the god or the goddess of your own existence. This has been told even in the old Satanism, right? The old, I don't know if it is called Luciferian doctrine or whatever. Satanism nowadays, I don't know if it supports that anymore, but the old Satanism I heard and read a bit about said that we are gods and goddesses of our own life, and we have to live our life in whatever way possible and to aim towards being successful and physically fulfilled. Okay? But on the same time, this is a principle that quantum physicists actually tell and bring proof towards nowadays. But it is a principle that's most likely been forgotten, and it's been long since. And it's quite old as set of concepts. Now, the old Satanism also said that if you end up exaggerating, right, you will end up being as my slave, right, the slave of this entity, right? And this also appears in Gothic 3, the Hashishin, right? They have this mentality, and they believe in Beliar, which is one of the names for the devil. I will be having some videos about this. Now, if you're new to my channel, I wouldn't mind if you share with me what you have learned. Feel free to subscribe and follow if you are interested. And I prefer calling myself an audience guided person, so if you have any problems or questions about life, feel free to ask me, and I will drop a video about that sooner or later. Depends on what other ideas I have, and depends on what other people would like, and depends on whether I have too many ideas at the same time. Now, I know my channel is slowly growing, but I'm welcoming as much wisdom I can so that I can share. It doesn't matter how many subscribers I have, it doesn't matter if people just come and watch my videos but do not subscribe, because I just prefer not taking people and not seeing people as numbers. I'm not interested in treating my subscribers as numbers. If I have 10 subscribers or 100 subscribers, it's still going to be the same thing. I'm going to work on my video game, and I'm going to provide people and humanity with the wisdom that I have, and I will keep improving myself so that I can provide even more. So these being said, have fun, enjoy your life. Don't forget, believe in whatever you want, but hold yourself accountable for that as well. Do not believe whatever is said to you, and you have to conduct your own research. That being said, I look forward to hearing from you, to actually listening to your stories and to ideas you've come up across in your enlightenment. This being said, have a nice day. Ferengi on board, signing out.